Life speaks. It speaks through struggles and success, through music and messages, the preconceived and the unexpected. Whether you are in the depths of the valley or in the midst of your mountaintop experience, everyone needs to be encouraged from time to time. You've tuned in to ALH Broadcasting, and this is Andrea L. Hines, your host for When Life Speaks. I'm glad you accepted the invitation to connect with us as we share stories of strength, testimonies of triumph, observations, and information meant to touch the heart and uplift the soul. There's something in this broadcast just for you, and if it's a blessing to your life, it just may be for someone else as well. So tag, share, invite someone, then turn down the volume of life and get ready to receive, so that when life speaks, you speak life. Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to When Life Speaks. I am Andrea L. Hines, and I am so glad to be able to greet you this evening. I'm so glad that you are here. Let me see if I can do something with the light. Okay, that's a little bit better, I think. I think that's a little bit better. We can pretend it is. How about that? I hope you have had a great day today. I hope you've had a good week, as a matter of fact. And I am just glad that you are able to share a little bit of time with me this evening. This is one of our E2 segments. And if you have not been following along with When Life Speaks, let me explain what E2 is. First of all, we have different categories of programming that we have on sometimes. Sometimes we talk about the power of one, and that's the individual that just kind of steps out on their own and says, you know what, I'm going to do this. I believe I can. And it either turns into a great movement or it turns into an annual thing that I end up doing year after year after year. And then we have our stories of strength, our testimonies of triumph. We have the flow when we're just kind of in that zone and in that vein where we are just encouraging one another, and we have different topics that we talk about. And that's kind of where we end up with E2. E2 is just an evening of encouragement. Usually I have a couple of poems, and sometimes it's only one, and then I spend a little bit of time, not a lot of time, but a little bit of time just kind of pouring into you a little bit and sharing a little bit and encouraging a little bit. And that's kind of what our program is going to be like tonight. Good evening to you, Linda. Thank you for being on this evening. And I didn't get a chance to reach out to some of the other people, but I hope they will be coming in this evening as well. We have an interesting topic tonight. And the topic that we're going to be talking about is steer clear of conflict. Steer clear of conflict. How can we steer clear of conflict? There's so many things happening, and people are anxious about a lot of things. Things are happening in their lives, and they are at a point a lot of times where they just, they're just kind of on edge. And they're not quite sure how they got there. They're not quite sure what is happening around them that may be triggering them to be in that particular spot or in that particular place. But what we want to do, we want to steer clear of conflict as quickly as we can, the best way that we can. And I have a poetic verse here. And I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and read it to you. Hey, Macy, good to have you in the house. Glad to see you this evening. I'm going to go ahead and read it to you, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about what happened once I had penned this particular victory verse or piece of poetry that I have for you tonight. It says, one thing we all say we want. One thing we all say we want is just a little peace. Sometimes the more we say it, it seems like the more chaos is released. But even when it feels that way, it doesn't have to be if we would break some chains and then endeavor to be free, free of behaviors, thoughts, and actions that tend to keep us bound, and then create an atmosphere where conflict can be found. If you take time to clear the air with honest communication, the spirit of offense won't become your primary motivation for how you will respond to any given situation. Then anger starts to fester. Before you even know it, your pressure's up, your voice is raised, and you begin to show it. Do not let the sun set on your wrath. That's the word. You must also step back and forgive the hurtful things you've heard, hurtful things you've experienced, you may have witnessed. It does you no good to entertain the painful place. Love the way you should. That's not always easy. But if the intent is there, God will purify your heart and show you how to care. For whenever you seek, find, trust, believe, and obey. He will orchestrate the time you need to do His will, His way. And you will be the peacemaker you are called to be, with resolutions reached and an outcome of unity. Yes, 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 yes. Roach, good evening to you. I wish I could say your name better, but you know what? I'm gonna call you Kay because that's what's in your circle. So I'm gonna call you Kay and just tell you that I welcome you this evening. Thank you so much for being a part of 8 at 8 and being a part of When Life Speaks here on ALH Broadcasting. So thank you for being here, and please forgive me on the name. But let me tell you something. When I was able to write this piece about conflict, I realized there were 8 very distinct things that stood out for me. And needless to say, CONFLICT. CONFLICT. So I'm going to go over those with you. I'm going to tell you what they are. These are my 8 things. Now, when you hear these, you may come up with 8 things for yourself, or 6 or 5 or 4 or 12, or however many it takes you to be able to steer clear of conflict. Everything doesn't have to be argued. Everything doesn't have to be fought. Everything doesn't have to put you in a place where you want to put your dukes up, as they used to say, and fight and get back at somebody and say what needs to be said, at least in your opinion. No, we want to steer clear of that. The first words in that poem said, one thing we all say we want is just a little peace. Well, we can't have that peace if we're wallowing around in conflict all the time. So let me start with the C. Clear the air. Clear the air. If you want to avoid conflict, if you want to steer clear of it, at the time, at the moment, when things are happening, clear the air. Clear the air. You have got to be able to have honest conversation. You have got to be able to have concise communication. You've got to be able to talk some things out. And I know when I started this before, this is what I had written. I had a conversation with my daughter and my granddaughter. Now that's 3 generations of women in the same house, discovering that interaction was insane in some cases based on things that simply were not so and could have been corrected if we had taken time in the beginning to clear the air, to ask what and why, and discover truth. If you clear the air, You are less likely to deal with the O in conflict, and that is offense. Woo! Goodness, goodness, goodness. How easily offended are you? Have you ever thought about that? What is it that makes you offended? You know, sometimes it's easy to look at a situation and circumstance and realize and recognize that sometimes it's the individual, it's not what they said, it's how they said it that offended you. But if you never talk to them, again, going back to that clear and concise communication and clearing the air, if you never let them know, then they are subject to repeat the behavior. And if they repeat the behavior, guess what? You're going to be offended again. And a lot of times, as time goes by, you look back over at the situation and you think, why did that upset me? Why did that even make me angry or put me in a place where I was offended? Could it have been avoided? Was it because I perceived things the wrong way? And why? Why am I so offended? There are some people that you look at sometime and you think to yourself, they just seem to always be angry or upset or offended about something. And the more they talk about it, the more offended they become. Is it really necessary? Are you really at that place where the slightest little thing will set you off, the slightest little thing will offend you, and then you don't know how to get out of it? You don't know how to put that offense aside. You don't know how to deal with it when it happens. Offense, offense, offense. We have to take time to examine it and eliminate it. What has offended you and why? You know, when you're angry with someone or have a negative relationship with someone, particularly that negative relationship, you can become offended when they enter the room. They don't even have to talk to you. They don't even have to say anything to you. You see them and you get offended because you start thinking back at what they did. Let it go, leave it in the past, and move forward. And I wanted to say something else about offense that people may not think about probably as often as they should. Our children are our mirrors. And when you are offended, whatever you're offended about or whoever you are offended with, guess what? Your children take on that same behavior. If you're angry with Miss Susie over there, they'll be angry with Miss Susie too. And they won't even know why. They won't even know what started it. They don't even know that they are mirroring your behavior. Be careful what you say around your kids. Be careful about talking about people around your children. Be careful of that because they will take on that same offensive attitude or response that you have, and you will wonder, and they won't understand why they're treating Mr. or Miss so and so the way that they are. And a lot of times it has nothing to do with them. It has nothing to do with anything the person may or may not have done to them. They are simply mirroring your behavior. So examine it. Examine what you're saying. Pay attention to what you're saying around your children so that they won't automatically become offended about things that really have nothing to do with them at all. Angie O, South Carolina Connection, good evening to you. Thanks for being here. Hey, Miss Ida, thank you for being here as well. And Francina, too. A lot of these names that I'm calling are names that are part of the village. And you guys know what to do. You know I invite your comments all of the time. So if there's something that you hear tonight that you want to make a comment on, you know what to do. Just put it in the comment section and we will read it out and we'll talk about it in depth just a little bit more, just a little bit more. Okay, let's see. CON. Now, this took a little poetic license because actually I'm talking about Ephesians 4:26 and practicing that, and that says, "Don't let the sun go down on your wrath." It talks about anger, and not that anger is a bad thing all the time, but don't stay in that place. Don't stay bound in that place. Don't stay locked in that place of anger. And of course, I'm trying to work with that in. So I am saying never, 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 never go to bed angry. Never go to bed angry. Never let the sun go down on your wrath. Clear your thoughts, clear your mind, clear your head. Clear, clear, clear. Clear your thinking of those things that could cause you offense, could cause you anger, could cause you to be in a painful place and recalling things that really, really, really just pull you down, pull you into negativity. I guess I could have used that word, but I wanted to get to the anger part. So I kept it there. Never, never go to bed angry. Never go to bed angry. Always be sure that you clear your mind and clear your thoughts and clear your focus. Maybe you need to read a little bit of something encouraging before you go to bed at night. Maybe that will help you to clear your mind and clear your head. But whatever it is you have to do, and if there's anybody who is on the line tonight, if there's something that you do to kind of put yourself at peace, put it in the comment section. It may be something that the rest of us can use and the rest of us can be privy to so that we can steer clear of conflict. Okay? Let's see. Our F, you know what that is. I am sure you know what that is. It is forgiveness. Forgiveness. And you know that forgiveness is not for the other person, but forgiveness is for you. Kay, thank you so much. Thank you for being here, and I appreciate that. We do have a replay. Kay is saying that to have a good night, she has to jump off the line, but she's going to watch the replay. And let me just say it now, because the replay of this broadcast will be Saturday at noon. Of course, you can come in later tonight and listen to it, but Saturday at noon, we will play it again. So thank you for being with us, and I hope you'll be able to join us again. Francine says, put a praise in your mouth will redirect your focus. That is good. That is good, Francina. That is good, because we have to get out of this place of allowing anger and all those other things I mentioned to take hold and take over. We have got to be able to take control of our thoughts. Yeah, bring our thoughts into captivity. We've got to be able to do that, because that's the only way we can turn some of this around and steer clear of the conflict that's coming at us. That's the only way we can do it. Let's see, talked about forgiveness. L. What does L stand for? You know that's love. That is love. But we need to be loving like God loves, and not expecting something in return. I don't know who it is that put the saying out there, I love you and there's nothing you can do about it. Did you ever think about that? That's the way God loves us. He loves us and there's not one thing we can do about it. He loved us yesterday. He loves us today. And he's going to love us tomorrow. And we need to think about all of the things that love means, all of the things that love does, and all of the things that love does not do. Ida says, yeah. She's talking about how we can steer clear, different things we can do. And Ida says, write about it in your journal. That's a good one, Ida. Because many of us do. Many of us do. We take the time to write things in our journal. And maybe I don't know, some people write in the morning, some people write in the evening. But whenever you decide to You want to be sure that you do that. You don't want to carry uh, baggage that triggers negativity, that triggers those things that might put you in a place where you just begin to spiral down, and you don't. Sometimes you don't even know how you got there, what happened, what went wrong, what was I doing, who was I talking to, who was talking to me, what things are happening in my life that are causing me to not steer clear of the conflict that is coming around us. Linda says, I tell myself the word says anger rests in the bosom of a fool, and I am not a fool. Listen to Miss Linda. Go ahead, preach, Miss Linda. I tell you what, that's good, that's true, and that's the word. That is the word. And thank you for that reminder tonight. Thank you for that. Because we have to remember anything that we need, anything that we want, anything that we want to have govern our lives in a positive manner, it's in the word. It is somewhere in the word. And we got to make sure that we are getting into that word. We are reading our word and we are living by our word, the word of God. And I thank you for that, Linda. Thank you for that reminder. Okay, let's see. We went through love. Let's see. And it mentions it's right here in the point. Um, it says to entertain the painful place, love the way you should. That's not always easy. But if the intent is there, God will purify your heart and show you how to care. If the intent is there, if the intent is there, we hurt a lot of people sometimes simply because we're kidding, we're joking. Oh, I didn't mean that. Oh, she shouldn't have been offended by that. I was just fooling around, just kidding around. Sometimes we really need to pay attention to our intention. Pay attention to our intention. Because if we don't mean it, maybe we just shouldn't say it. If we don't intend for it to hurt, maybe this time we can just be quiet. Just because we see something doesn't mean we need to say something. There are those times when silence is really, really golden. When you don't need to comment on everything, especially if the comment you're making is not one that you intend to have a negative impact or a bad effect on somebody at any time. Be careful. You got to be careful. Watch and pay attention to your intention. What do you mean? What do you mean to say? What is it you mean for that comment to do? How do you mean for that comment to really come across? How do you mean for the person to receive it? It makes a difference. Intention. Be careful with your intentions to do things. Indeed, indeed. Okay, that's what we got right there. Intention. If the intention is there, God will purify your heart and show you how to care. We talked about care, the art and act of caring, a couple of weeks ago. But there's a different little twist and little spin that I wanted to put on it tonight when I thought about care. And that's once again, me and letters and words. But be compassionate rather than critical. If you care, if you really care, if you care about the person, you care about the situation, you care about not intentionally hurting anybody, be compassionate rather than critical. Be able to adjust your attitude quickly. Quickly. If something's wrong, if you said something wrong and you are aware that you have, why, it shouldn't take you till Christmas. You know you did it right then. Take care of it right then. Remember, in the very beginning, we're talking about do it immediately. You're gonna forgive now. If you're gonna do things intentionally, do it now. If you want to change your attitude, your perspective, your speech, your pattern, have clear communication, do it now. Do it now. You don't have to wait. What are you waiting for? If you hurt the individual now, if you offended the individual today, if you said something that was not kind, correct it now. Do it now. So adjust your attitude. Respecting each other will keep you out of a valley of regret. Just respect one another. Some people might say easier said than done. I don't believe it. I believe that respect is something that goes with the territory of being a believer, being a good human being, being encouraging, being intentionally nice to somebody. Doesn't take a lot to intentionally be kind, say something kind, do something kind. Do it now. And that brings us, let's see, C-A-R-E. There are two things that I thought about when I thought about the E in care. One was empathy, and the other was encouragement. Those two things are important. If you say you care, then you've got to have empathy. And if you have empathy somewhere in there, you will find a way to encourage somebody else. Let's see. Ida says love and compassion should be action words. Absolutely, absolutely, Ida. And Francina says hurting people hurt others to make themselves feel better and take away their own pain. That can be very, very true, Francina. Indeed, indeed, it can. Um, and one last thing that we have is our tea. Is our tea. And let me see if I have where I have what I want to say. Time. 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 God's time. Not your time. God's time. There's so many things that I can say about time, and there's so many things that we say about time. If I only had enough time, I could have fixed it. I could have corrected it if I only had enough time. I wanted to tell them that I was really sorry for my actions, and I was going to do it, but I ran out of time. I ran out of time. Sometimes we have difficulty getting things done today because we are so focused on the next. We're so focused on tomorrow. We're so focused on where we are going that we don't take care of the things that we should take care of right where we are. Sometimes we get caught up and we are procrastinating about the things that we need to do today because of the things we think we need to do tomorrow. Time. When you focus on, or I should put it this way, when you are not focused on your agenda, your timing, your belief in how things ought to be, and when things ought to happen, and who needs to be involved, then you are submitted to God's timing. And when you're submitted to God's timing, you are also submitted to his will. And you're submitted to his will, you're submitted to his way. Now, if you are in a place and in a state or stage where you can clear the air, know what's going on around you, speak the way you need to speak, when you're not easily offended, you stay away from that negativity and never go to bed angry, when you're forgiving and forgiving quickly, when the things that you do intentionally are things that take on the character of Christ, when you care and you care with empathy and you care with compassion and you care in a way that encourages somebody else, and you do what you do yielded to the timing of God, guess what you are able to do from that point on? You're able to steer clear of conflict. Ooh, I hope that helps somebody tonight. I hope we shared some words and the village shared. I know that they were sharing some things that are good and good news. I hope that you will think on these things, that you will meditate on these things. Hey, Bernice, how you doing, lady? That you will be able to meditate on these things, that they will change you somehow. So that the things that you used to be offended about, you're not offended about anymore. That you're not held uh, captive and held in bondage by things that are negative, by anger, by offense, by those things that just don't bring you any joy and particularly don't bring you any peace. Stay clear of conflict. Life will be much easier, much better, much more joyful, much more pleasant. And then you got it, Francina, and you will have that peace that you were looking for. I hope you enjoyed E2 tonight. I hope you will enjoy it enough to tell somebody about it and invite somebody to listen in on Saturday at noon so that they can hear what you had the opportunity to hear this evening. Come on back. I think we got something good for you next week. We may have a couple more E2 segments to round out the month, but we're going to see whatever God says do, that's what we're going to do. But I thank you. I thank you for being here. I thank you for Bernice says she's coming in late, but that's okay, Bernice. Whenever you come in, you still right on time. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you, guys. Thank you for joining. Thank you for coming in. If there are any topics that you want to see us discuss, if there are any things that you want to hear us talk about here on an E2 segment or anytime at all, right here, you know we are here for When Life Speaks. And when you come in, I want you to turn down the volume of life. Turn down the volume of life and be ready to receive so that when life speaks, you'll speak life. That's it, guys. Have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you here next week, 7 p.m. But for When Life Speaks.